Greetings from the party favors. Welcome to your virtual wedding entertainment. Recently, we had a nice brainstorming conversation and chat with a couple that are looking to have entertainment as part of their virtual wedding experience for their guests. Their primary concern were that their guests that are in the virtual world are entertained as much, if not more, than their guests that are actually at the live event. They're looking for a hybrid experience. And we came up with some ideas that we'd like to share with you today. The first, I think, is the most important idea of all, and that is that the timing is not real. That is to say that your ceremony actually might begin at 4 p.m., which is great, but it doesn't mean that your virtual guests want to actually be there at 4 p.m. They want to see the ceremony for sure, but they may not want to hang around for a regular reception of 4 hours in front of their laptop or their computer in a Zoom room. So the solution is to stagger the celebration. So your real ceremony starts at 4 p.m., but your virtual audience does not show up until 6 p.m. And what they're going to see appears to be the live ceremony. But in fact, it's been video recorded by a professional videographer, and that content is then shared with your host of your virtual wedding room, and then the ceremony plays. This is now 2 hours ahead of what's actually happening. So I'll give you some math here. If the ceremony is at 4 o'clock, and over by 4:30, and you take pictures for an hour afterwards, which is pretty standard, it's now 5:30, and you're going to start dinner. And now after dinner, or sometime just during dinner, you can now do toasts, your first dance. It's at 6 o'clock, maybe 6:15 by the time the virtual room has started showing your ceremony, and all of a sudden they have caught up with what is the live action. And so they're going to get this hybrid experience of live from their perspective, but in fact, a piece of it or more has been recorded. So the real time doesn't have to necessarily be the actual time. We can talk more about that if you have some questions and coordinate things so that they match to meet your specific needs. I highly recommend that all receptions have a professional master of ceremonies, a host, and entertainment at their celebration. The same is true within your wedding room, in that you should have a professional MC, somebody who can engage your audience and entertain them and keep them occupied while they may be waiting for the live action to catch up with what is going to be shown from the video. Okay, so have both MC, host, entertainer live at your reception and online in your wedding room. Also, keep in mind that the live and the online experience does not have to be identical. It doesn't have to be the same. It's okay if it's similar, or it's even okay if it's completely different. And some of the ideas that I'm going to share with you today will give you some options to entertain your audience in your wedding room, those that are your virtual guests. And also keep in mind that you don't need to show everything because they're possibly not having dinner with you. So what's the wait for? So they don't need to have everything just hanging around waiting for the next activity, but instead you can just show the highlights of your celebration. And from their perspective, it'll appear as though it's all happening in real time. And that's the magic of a good host to do that for you. Some of the things that you would never see at a regular live traditional wedding can actually be done in your wedding room. For example, your master of ceremonies might actually offer some commentary because the rules have kind of changed. I mean, they're watching the live action, but they're not there. So why not enhance their experience? Again, I mentioned that things can be similar or slightly different. So the MC is providing commentary during the ceremony. Michaela is wearing a beautiful gown by Vera Wang. Tony is wearing a suit from Celebrity Tux and Tails. They've decided to buy this tux because they're going on a honeymoon cruise to Jamaica and want to be able to have that same fashionable look for the formal night on the cruise. Later on, as things progress, they might be talking about the best man, Brandon, who was going to be doing a toast. He's Tony's brother, and he's waited 24 years and has prepared all those years for this, his toast to his brother. Again, lots of things you can do. You can talk about the music that's being live performed by Akatio. You can talk about the food that's being served possibly. There are all kinds of unique things that you can do that can engage the audience in your wedding room that would not necessarily happen at a normal wedding reception, or shall I say traditional. And then, of course, fun and games. There's all kinds of things that you can do for your virtual audience to ingratiate you to them and them to you. Possibly mail something to the guests that are going to be in your wedding room. And then at a specific time, they will all open this gift or this envelope at the same time. And in the envelope, it might be one message for everyone, or it might be a personal message for each individual, depending on how much work you want to do. Or it might be something generic, like we wanted to let you know that we're having a baby, okay? And that package is due in 6 months or 8 months. Or we'd like to invite you all to join us for our housewarming party, and then the date for that event and details about that. Or it might be, again, as I say, just a personal message to each of them that they're going to read, and maybe the MC in your Zoom room, your wedding room, might actually invite some of your guests to say something. In addition to that, we can take a little opportunity to have some or all or none, depending on whether they're outgoing or not, have the virtual wedding room do toasts to the couple. But the couple won't know anything about that until they receive the ultimate recording of everything that happened and transpired in their wedding room. Again, some fun games that you can play. This is something that we refer to as wedding scramble. And it's just a little game that can be played with your guests while they're waiting for the next activity that's happening at the live wedding event. It could be something that's played quietly, or your master of ceremonies, your MC, can actually, pause the action and engage the audience in your wedding room to answer the questions. And if you can guess that that was marriage, that of course is indeed what this day is all about. In addition to that, there might be some personal video messages from guests who could not attend your celebration, like this one.
Hey Dan, it's Ron and Aaron coming from Bemis Point, New York. We're just here to wish you a happy retirement. Wish we could be with you, but I'll see you in about 2 weeks.
See you soon, Dan. Congratulations.
We love you.
Hey, Dan.
We're back.
We just miss you so much. We wanted to say congratulations one more time. Can't wait to see you.
We love you, and we'll see you soon. Take care,
Bye.
bro.
Again, just some fun stuff you can do with your guests in your wedding room. Perhaps you might want to play some trivia. Here's another good example of, if you're movie buffs, here's a movie trivia game that can be played. And the idea here is that it can be played in silent mode, or again with your MC engaging the audience and playing with them. This is an example of a movie trivia, but you could just as easily do wedding trivia, and all the questions can be about the couple getting married, their family, their pets, their siblings, their work. Again, it just depends on who's in the wedding room and how much you want to engage with them and how much you want to play with them. But I have lots of couples that are, movie buffs, and so something like this becomes really fun. And they can select the movies in advance, or we can do a generic list as this one has been set up to do. And you might even want to do something that I refer to as your first dance. Again, we've got a combination of live video, but we can enhance that experience with photographs from your photographer who have sent them to your host, and they're going to then use those pictures that have been provided in advance, like your engagement photos, but also maybe wedding pictures from the day, and then you can create a montage of you proposing, spending time together, loving each other, and eventually a live action of you dancing together, and maybe even some pictures of the actual ceremony of you walking down the aisle, and so forth and so on. It becomes a very intimate, personal experience for your guests in your wedding room. Excellent. So let's chat today about how we can make your virtual wedding fun, unique, and memorable. Thanks.